Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For years, we have underinvested in our munitions production, and we are starting to reverse that trend, but more needs to be done to increase production. Secretary Austin, what is the department currently doing to increase munitions production capacity, and what more does it seek to do in FY24?
Well, thank you, Senator. Let me thank Congress for what you've done to authorize multi-year procurement capability. That sends a strong signal to the industrial base. Also, the numbers that you see reflected in our budget request for procurement sends a strong signal as well. In this particular budget, we're asking for $30 billion to invest in munitions, and that helps us go after the right kinds of munitions that we think we need to replenish stocks and to make sure that we get ahead as well. And also, it allows us to invest a bit in the industrial base. Now, we're engaging our partners in industry and trying to do everything we can to work with them to expand their capacity and their capability. But to your point, there's a lot more work that needs to be done.
The committee has worked to modify or remove older unnecessary contracting requirements so we can get contracting officers to move faster on replacing munitions in Ukraine. Would it be useful to be able to remove or modify these unnecessary requirements for weapons related to our most pressing challenges in the Western Pacific and in Taiwan as well?
Absolutely, Senator, it would.
Thank you. General Milley, the current U.S. Nuclear modernization plan was originally designed in 2010 when nuclear threats were much less severe than they are today. However, since then, every DoD modernization program, along with every Department of Energy infrastructure project and warhead program, has been delayed or it's been reduced in its scope. Can you tell me how we're going to meet the rapidly growing threats from China and Russia with a force that's smaller and with a force that delivers later than we planned for more than a decade ago? Basically, I'm asking you, how are we going to recognize challenges we have today and meet them?
Thanks, Senator. As you know, the nuclear capability of China is growing, and we can cover that in some detail in a classified session if you so desire. The recapitalization of the nuclear triad is the Secretary and President's number one defense priority. That is what has been one of the most significant contributors to great power peace in the last 8 decades. So it's imperative for us, the United States, to recapitalize that entire system with the silos, the bombers, as well as the subs, but also the NC-3 system. That's really critical, and it does bother me that some of these programs are behind and they're coming in at over cost, over budget. But we're going to get there, and it'll be a safe, secure, reliable system, guaranteed bet, and we'll maintain the strategic deterrence that we've kept for 80 years.
Last year, you, along with nearly every other senior U.S. military officer, testified that we need to provide presidents with more nuclear options than we have today. Do you still agree with that sentiment?
I do. I believe that...
Okay. Thank you. Yes is fine.
Sure.
As a member of this committee and also as a member of the Senate Commerce Committee, I've worked for years to promote efficient spectrum management by the federal government without endangering the mission-critical operations of the Department of Defense. Coordination among the agencies can be difficult and it can be slow. Proactive communication among all stakeholders, I believe, is key for that better coordination. And that's why, as ranking member of the Strategic Force Subcommittee, I sent a letter to the subcommittee chairman, with the subcommittee chairman, Angus King, to the Department of Defense last year that asked for more details about the department's concerns with proposed spectrum reallocation in the lower 3G. DoD's response pointed to the 2020 IDA report, but there's still far more details that we need to learn about what may or may not work for reallocation in this band. Fortunately, there is an ongoing study, and I appreciate that, the PATH study, that should provide those details. General Milley, my time is almost up, and I expect my friend from South Dakota will have a conversation with you about this as well. But for the record, and please answer yes or no, is it your best military advice that the ongoing PATH study, as currently authorized, should be completed in order to inform the ongoing spectrum negotiations?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.